markets rise as the VIX falls. Welcome back, everybody, to High Quality Trades. This is the channel where I provide top-notch technical analysis of the stock market, where we go over simple support and resistance levels, trend line breaks, and pattern formations. And I give you the price targets of where price is headed in the coming days. So let's get into it. In today's video, we will be going over the SPY, the QQQs, and the VIX. And at the end of this video, I'll be going over some trades I took on the SPY today, just for fun. So first up, we have the SPY on the 4-hour time frame. Today, the SPY closed at 548.79. It reached a high of 549.15 and a low of 543.78. We were positive 0.44% on the day. Okay guys, what is price currently doing? So on Monday, it does look like we gapped up over our resistance here at 542.61. And we headed up towards our next resistance level of 547.72. The bears did step in at this level and try to push price lower, but ultimately at the end of the day, it does look like we've closed above 547.72. Now price is encountering resistance at the 200 period moving average, and then it does look like we're headed towards our descending trend line here of this megaphone pattern. If price is able to get above the descending trend line, then it's most likely price heads up towards 555.20. And if we're able to get above this resistance level, then it is possible that we head up towards our gap fill out on the daily time frame that doesn't fill until around 565.16 level. That would be very bullish if price is able to push towards new all-time highs, obviously, and then we would probably be headed towards a full pattern completion of our falling wedge here. But this pattern doesn't complete until around 575. But we'll have to see if the market wants to come up here and actually complete our falling broadening wedge, or if we only get half this pattern completed before a failed pattern completion, and then we continue moving lower in the market. So if tomorrow we do fall lower, if CPI drops the market, we will probably be headed down towards this gap fill area, which doesn't fill until 538.77. And if this level can't act as resistance, then we will be headed down towards 537.40. If this was to break, we don't have any support until 531.69. If we bring up the MACD, it does look like it's curled upwards and is approaching the zero line, so that is bullish at the current moment for price to continue pushing higher. One thing I will point out is a slight divergence here between price and the RSI, with these highs not matching. So we do have a higher high on the RSI, but price is still forming actually what looks to be a lower high. So we're gonna have to see if this plays out. Could be nothing. Obviously, if we gap above this high here, this probably be nullified bearish signal, and then we'll continue moving higher. But it is something to be aware of. This could push the market lower, and then we fill this gap. Dropping down into the 15-minute time frame for just a second. We are above our 200 period moving average, but it is moving sideways at the current moment, so we really get no information here until it starts pushing one way or the other. We're just consolidating at the current moment. Alrighty, that's it for SPY. Now let's go over the QQQs on the 4-hour time frame. So we did get that same gap up, just like SPY, and we did push towards resistance. We are encountering resistance at this 458.33 level, but price is peeking its head just above this level. So it is slightly bullish for price to continue pushing up towards 461.06. And if we're able to get above that level, then price is most likely headed towards 465.51. But if this level does act as resistance tomorrow and we head lower, this gap fill area on the 4-hour time frame is where price is most likely headed. This gap doesn't fill until around 446.82. So if price doesn't encounter resistance at this gap fill and we break below this 448.35 level and stay below, then price will be headed down towards 443.13. So now if we bring up the MACD and the RSI, the MACD has curled up and is approaching that zero line. So that is bullish for price to continue moving higher. And then we do have that same divergence though, just like SPY, between price and the indicator, with the RSI making a higher high, but price is forming what looks to be a lower high. Nothing yet. If we push above the highs here, then this is a fake bearish divergence. That's the thing with these guys, is this needs to have follow through with a bearish candle, or it could be nothing. So we'll just wait and see if the bears are able to push price lower based on that, or if we push higher. Dropping down into the 15-minute time frame and looking at our 200 period moving average, price is above it at the current moment, but it is still slightly moving lower. We are encountering resistance at 458.33, so we'll have to see if price wants to fall back and maybe retest this as resistance, and we could push higher. Ultimately, we want this moving average to start sloping up, and then it will support the buyers as we move higher. But if it continues moving lower, then it will be supporting the sellers, and then we will be headed lower in the market. Okay, that's it for the triple Qs. Now let's head towards the VIX. So the 4-hour time frame, the VIX has fallen to support at 1888. If this level manages to hold, then we will be headed back up towards 2198. We did open up a new down gap on Monday, and now price may try to fill this gap in the coming days. Ultimately, this gap does not fill until 2240. But if price does manage to get above this level, then we will be headed up towards 2454, which is our next resistance level, and we could head up towards 2943. We do have these gap fill areas overhead that will need to be filled at some point, but the VIX will obviously will need some bearish price action in the market to push the VIX up to those levels. So if we do get some bullish price action off of CPI tomorrow, then the VIX is most likely going to break this 1888 support level. We'll head down towards the 200 period moving average, and then ultimately we have support here at 1722. Alrighty guys, that is it for the VIX. Okay, and lastly, we'll go over the trades I took today on SPY. So, these were the opening candles. Right here is the 730 candle. So what I first noticed, grouping up the MACD and the RSI, we did have a bunch of divergences, with price making higher highs and the RSI was making a bunch of lower lows, or higher lows, excuse me. So on this first candle, after it closed, I watched the second candle break the lows of that 730 candle. So once the lows got broke, I entered in a short position with a stop above this candle at the high was 548.58. So the next candle was a pretty bearish one down to the 200 period moving average. that I thought may act as some support. So I watched the candles. This next one looked to me like a piercing candle. It closed about halfway from the previous candle. So then that kind of signaled to me that we might get some bullish price action. So in this next candle, I put in a sell order and then I got out. So that was my first winner. And then as price moved up to support here, I started looking at the MACD and the RSI, and it just looked like we may have be encountering resistance at this level. So actually on this bearish engulfing candle, I entered some more short trades and then played it down to the lows here. That's when I noticed the bullish divergence we got on the RSI between this low, these two lows here, and then the lows we're getting here. So that signaled to me to get out of my short positions. So that was when I put in my order and then it got placed. So that, I went 2 for 2, thought that was cool. But then actually I noticed a trend line forming here between the highs of the day, or the high and then the lower high. Once this was getting broken, I decided to just go for it again and I entered in a call. And usually when this formation happens, the first price targets the previous high, and then ultimately it should reach the first high that formed the trend line. So actually when we broke above the resistance of 547.72, I placed a stop order, and then it eventually got hit at over 50% of the contract. So that was cool. I went 3 for 3. Oh yeah, and at this trend line, we noticed the MACD had started to curl up and was creating green bars. So that was also another signal that price was going to continue pushing higher. So that was pretty cool. Just thought I'd go over that real quick for you guys. And with that, that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching High Quality Trades. I'll see you guys on Thursday night. All right, goodbye.